With the purpose of fulfilling the pledge the youth of Japan made to True Mother to increase the number of youth members by tenfold through the project, promoted by President Pang, the production of this channel aims displaying contents that everyone can feel connected to, featuring young people who are truly exceptional, and also include an advice corner to address any concerns and a space to showcase wonderful experiences of life-changing experiences of young people. On its first day, the live audience reached 10,000 viewers, and the response from the viewers was even greater after the broadcast ended. IYSP of the Philippines, together with the National Youth Commission, successfully held an event to express their gratitude to other partners at the UPF Peace Embassy. The event acknowledged the collaboration done by different sectors and departments of the Philippine government during the series of regional youth forums in the 17 regions of the Philippines. New ambassadors of peace were appointed during the event. The CAP student in the Dominican Republic conducted a 3-day Divine Principles seminar. After the lectures spanning from the principle of creation to the second coming of Christ, the participants were able to discuss their doubts and experience a growth in their life of faith. Brazil held the Youth Festival in order to inspire and find candidates for the blessing that will take place this year. The festival aimed to encourage young people to participate in blessing and to form ideal families as the most effective way to realize world peace. The meaning and the value of the blessing was shared with them, and they were guided on the preparations for such a holy ceremony. In Nicaragua, in the Central American Sub-Region 5, IYSP organized, with the support of different provincial organizations, the New Year Eve Cultural Festival. The event was held at the national headquarters of the Family Federation and was broadcast online through the Zoom platform. Traditional Nicaraguan songs, poems, and dances united the participants in a joyful atmosphere. To conclude the event, 12 members of the local football team received certificates after participating in a 4-month character education program organized by IYSP. The South American Blessed Families Department held a 7-day monthly seminars from July to December on matching and preparing candidates for the 2022 blessing. All the church leaders, departmental leaders, and blessed families and supporters of matching from the countries in the region participated in these seminars, which included various programs. They indeed offered a wide range of teachings and specific guidelines that strengthened the conviction of all participants. In addition, the South American Blessed Family Department held 2 seminars in November to prepare candidates for the blessing. It then held the first Blessed Family Festival on December 4th, and even a seminar on global parent-children matching. Through all this, the continent is making the necessary efforts to have the maximum number of candidates for the next blessing. On December 15th, the memoirs of the late Reverend Kim Bong-tae, a leading figure in the youth movement in Korea and former president of KARP and Salmo University, were published. The work is entitled Kim Bong-tae, Forever Young. The memoirs, published on the basis of President Kim's manuscript, discovered after his ascension into the spirit world. It contains historical facts of the unification movement initiated by students, as well as several testimonies of older brothers and sisters who had actively participated in the movement. The song ceremony church service of Reverend Choi Kwan-sun, whose family was registered as Chonbu and full citizens of Chonbu, was held at the Guri Church in Korea, Sub-Region 2. After joining the ancient church on July 3, 1972, Reverend Cho served as the director of Blessed Families Department of the Holy Spirit Association for Unification of World Christianity, and then was the leader of the church headquarters in Seoul and the provinces of Gyeonggi and Gangwon. He led a life of sacrifice and total devotion in order to be registered as a Chonbon family and contribute to the realization of God's ideal on earth. At the ceremony, Dr. Yoon Young-ho, director of the national headquarters, emphasized Reverend Cho's absolute loyalty to God and true parents. He added that Reverend Cho was a model spiritual leader who guided his church members with true love until the last day of his life. The participants in the ceremony expressed their deep admiration for Reverend Cho's faith and loyalty and pledged to become sons and daughters of filial piety for God and true parents.
2022 will include the 10th anniversary of True Father's ascension into heaven. While we were in total despair and filled with grief, after have been a time to further expand True Father's imprint on humanity and proclaim True Parents to the whole world. True Mother has only one desire, which has now become ours. Children grow up desiring to be like their parents. Our greatest wish is to embody True Parents' heart by living model lives in accordance with God's ideal. With these words, we close this first issue of the year. Thank you for following us, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. Our HJ Global News by Peace TV. Truly a fruitful year of 2021. Despite of our pandemic, we cannot afford to idle and we continue to move forward for the Vision 2027. Aju, to continue, let's invite our IOSP and second gen officers in La Union to offer to us or to render to us an offering song live here in our venue in Bawang, La Union. So let's welcome, and they're going to sing to us One Big Family.
Hello, yes. Good morning po. Hey. All right, so okay, before we are going to start our space, our beloved true parents, let us give our respect. Chunjin Cham. Okay. Baro. To our leaders, Kim ne Baro. All right. So we're going to sing One Big Family since we are big. Just kidding. We are one family under God. So as we are going to celebrate the Ahn Shi. So anyway, first, good morning to our Reverend Dr. Kitel, to our national leader, and to our leaders. And these are the IAYSP Filipina officers, IAYSP Filipinas members, officers, and the second generation of La Union, specifically from all the way from Isabela, wow, and from Cavite, and from La Union here. Okay, so we're going to sing One Big Family. So hope you like it, and please join with us. Okay. So let's go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our IAYSP officers and our second generation for offering to us an inspiring song, One Big Family. Another round of applause for our second generation and IAYSP officers. And now, our dear leaders, our brothers and sisters, together with all our brothers and sisters joining us in the Zoom, let's all prepare our hearts, our mind, to receive our message for this morning. Let's welcome our Regional Vice President of Asia Pacific II, our beloved Dr. Julius B. Malikdem.
Thank you very much, Brother Froilan. And greetings to all our brothers and sisters joining us in this first Ahn Shi family service this year 2022. Please don't mind my voice. I have been sick for past days, so I couldn't join our leaders and brothers and sisters in La Union. So I miss all our leaders there. Now we are having the 2022 kick-off meeting. That's why all our leaders are gathered in the land of unity, La Union. Okay, so very fitting that they are gathered there and we are joining together. So greetings to all my beloved brothers and sisters joining us from Japan, from Korea, and other countries, and especially joining us from around the Philippines. So happy Ahn Shi po sa lahat. I would like to share my screen. So you can see now the screen. I hope it's okay. So once again, Happy New Year to all my dear brothers and sisters. So we started this year, 2022. And actually this year, especially Chinese New Year, will be the year of the water tiger. And you know, water tigers, the characteristics, especially the tigers, very passionate and very positive, very positive-minded, forward-looking, and brave, very straightforward. But most importantly, water tigers, they work hard and go after what they want. So that's why it's very fitting that our theme, particularly the theme of our kickoff meeting for our leaders, is let this year be the best year of our lives. So what I would like to share with you this morning is entitled Offering Utmost Sincerity and Efforts to Bring the Best Result of Our Lives. Offering utmost sincerity and efforts to bring the best results of our lives. So for many, you know, every time New Year comes, this is a time of great anticipation and hope. And especially after we have gone through so many struggles and hardships, starting from the year 2020, and then it continued until last year, 2021. In fact, even before the end of 2021, you know, we were devastated by Typhoon Odette. And many of our loved ones, many of your friends, brothers and sisters have suffered. And even until this time, they are still trying to cope up and recover with the calamity. And then, before the end of this year also, came Omicron. So fear is coming in again. You know, many have lost friends, loved ones, and many even have lost hope last year. You know, aside from being this year, New Year, as a time of anticipation and hope, actually New Year is also a time of reflection, right? You know, for many business owners, before the end of the year, they are very busy for doing inventory. You know, this is like a painful but necessary reality, so that these business owners will know whether they made profit or not last year, right? So that's why they do a lot of assessment, whether they're checking whether their business did well or not. And then they take the information they receive and make the necessary adjustments for the coming year. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, how about our life of faith? How about our life of faith? We need also assessment. We also need to make our own inventory of faith, inventory of substance of our actions and results. That is why, you know, New Year is the best time to reflect and ask ourselves, what did I accomplish for God's will last year? What did I accomplish for God's will last year? We need to reflect on this, you know, honestly, and then ask ourselves, also, how is my heart? Okay pa ba? No? Okay pa ba yung heart ko? So, in a sense, we can say we need heart checkup, right? We need heart checkup. So as we just began the new year, 2022, and you know, this is the first Ahn Shi, now is the best time to reflect and look back and renew also our determination to advance forward. You know, there is a commercial in the Philippines, para kanino ka bumabangon. So I think it also applies to us, para kanino ka bumabangon. So my dear brothers and sisters, for what or for whom are you waking up for? You know, every new year, many people are preparing their New Year's resolution, right? And then, you know, New Year's resolution, when we think of this, brothers and sisters, actually, this can be summarized into 3 categories. So based on some survey, 3 kategorya lang naman ang ninanais ng mga tao. Every time New Year, they write their resolution. And then ito lang yung mga 3 categories. Number 1, for things to make us look better and live longer. Okay? Look better and live longer. So that's number 1. And then second, a resolution for things to make us have more. So kung ano yung kakulangan mo last year, you want to have more this time. And then the third one, which is I think is very important and most important, for things that will help us get along with everyone. So itong 3 categories ng New Year's resolution, generally, people are praying for these 3. The first one talks about longevity. Pangalawa, it talks about prosperity. And the third one talks about peace. Longevity, prosperity, and peace. So please remember these 3, because in the conclusion later on, we will go back to these 3 categories and how we can realize this. Aju? So, these resolutions, you know, that we try to write every year or every new year can actually be God's revelations. So what I'm trying to say here, brothers and sisters, is that when you write your resolutions, isn't it that you pray about it? Isn't it that you ask God for guidance? What should I do this year? Then you make determination. So probably, brothers and sisters, itong mga resolutions na to are actually revelations from God to you. What is God's wish for you this year? Right? So please, you know, take time and find that quiet moment between you and our Heavenly Parent and sincerely ask him, especially our leaders now are gathered in La Union, very beautiful place. So it's the best time for you to reflect and then have that quiet time together with our Heavenly Parent, commune with our true parents in spirit, and then ask them, what is it for me this year, 2022? So, para kanino o para saan ako bumabangon sa 2022? Beginning in 1960, actually ito yung in-adopt theme ng ating gathering sa La Union, our 2022 kick-off meeting. Let this be the year of the best result of our lives. Actually, this is the 1960 motto, the first ever motto given to us by True Father. This started the tradition that every new year, true parents, they are giving us the annual mottos. At ito yung pinakaunang motto na binigay sa atin. True Father wrote this in 1960 and then announced that from this time on, every year, we will be having the annual motto. So this will set the direction and goal of the year for all members, all leaders of the Unification Church. What is so significant about 1960? During the 1960s, especially after the Holy Wedding, this brought tremendous change in the providence. Kumbaga 180 degrees nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa providence. True parents personally led the providence and set the direction for all Unification members worldwide by walking their own 7-year course. Kaya nagsimula yung 7-year course from the Holy Wedding of True Parents 1960 and then started the 7-year course. And then True Father declared in front of all Unification members, let this be the year of the best result of our lives. It means in this 1 year, True Father explained, make the greatest achievement that you will not forget for the rest of your life. Wow. Make the greatest achievement that you will not forget for the rest of your life. So that is why it is so fitting that as we start this year, we go back to this very powerful motto given to us by True Father in 1960, in the year of the Holy Wedding of our true parents, in the year when the providence totally take 180 degrees turn. So these are words from True Father emphasizing 1960 and this motto. I would like to read. Externally, 1960 was the year when we removed Satan's accusation. In this period, we had to establish True Father's status as Messiah on the levels of one people and the nation. That year was a time when we received persecution from society. You still remember that time? Even before the Holy Wedding, Father was brought to the jail, to the police station, and interrogated and detained. And then when we were having, the blessing, so many things that are happening, preventing the marriage ceremony to take place. Then Father said, we were anxious for the time to come when we could freely convey God's word. It was also the time when we had to take things back and make them God's. Let this be the year of the best result of our lives. Means that we had to bring results and free ourselves from the condition of Satan's accusation. Aju, bring results and then free ourselves from the condition of Satan's accusation. Why? Because bringing results that time in the era of indemnity, we cannot claim these results. These results becomes indemnity conditions so that Satan cannot accuse us. Aju? So that was a very different time during the time of period of indemnity. All results are offered as indemnity conditions. So the question is, how do we bring the best results in 2022? And I would like to share with you, this is a very, powerful Bible verse which can guide us how to bring the greatest result in this new year. We can read that in the Bible, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15 to 17. And I would like to read, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." So himay-himayin natin itong Bible verse na to. The first one, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. In order to understand this more, actually we can read, first and foremost, be careful how you live your life. Why? Because we only got one chance. We only got one chance. Kumbaga sa painter, mayroon lang tayong isang canvas na pwedeng gamitin. And our time on this earth is limited. True Father said, ordinarily, people are simply born into this world, pass through youth, reach their prime, and enter old age. Their life passes like the setting sun. Yet those who know of the spirit world realize that a lifetime is but a fleeting moment compared to the eternal life after death. That being given, our lifetime serves to prepare us to welcome the world of eternity. That is why, brothers and sisters, New Year is a time of going back to basics. Let's start from the very beginning. Parang ganon, no? Do you still remember when you were still a baby? I don't know if you remember. What is the usual song that your parents or people around you teach you? Ano yung palaging kinakanta or pinapakanta sa'yo? Maalala nyo pa, hindi na siguro, when you were babies. Ano yun? Close, open, right? You still remember? Usually ganon sa mga bata, right? So New Year is a time of putting a closure to some baggages in the past. If you develop resentment, if you have hatred in your heart, if you have failures in the past, you should not nurture this hurt. That's why New Year is a time of repentance and forgiveness. Aju? So this is what New Year means. Fresh start and new beginnings. Aju? Fresh start and new beginnings. Leave them all in God's hands. Aju? So that is close. And then open. Open ourselves to what lies ahead. We don't know what lies ahead, right? We don't know after Omicron, ano pang susunod. We don't know what lies ahead, what will happen to us. But one thing is sure, our Heavenly Parent is there, and He can see all of us. Parang yung drone, di ba? Yung drone, pag niya lahat sa baba. Brothers and sisters, we have the greatest and the biggest drone, and that is our Heavenly Parent, who can see all of us, who knows all our situations. So what we can do, we just pray to Heavenly Parents, and then pray to Heavenly Parents, we are all in your hands. Bahala na Spirit. Actually, it's very positive in a way when we say, bathala na, right? It's all up to God. For our Muslim brothers and sisters, they say, Inshallah. It's all up to God. So, brothers and sisters, please be open. Be open for surprises. Be open for miracles. that will be happening in your life of faith this year, 2022. Aju? Wow. Be open with God's miracles taking place in your life. Pangalawa, doon sa Bible verse na yon, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. You know, when we talk about making the most of every opportunity, we are given time. And time is the greatest equalizer in life. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are young or old, lahat tayo ay binibigyan ng pare-parehong time. At the start of the year, we are all given equally 8,760 hours. We are all given equally 525,000 minutes. Pare-pareho. Now the question is, in this year 2022, how will you use this time given to us? So the key is not spending time, but in investing your time. Aju? The key is not in spending time, but in investing your time. Actually, this is a quote from Stephen Covey. Siya yung nagsabi nito, no? He is the author of the famous time management matrix. He said, the key is not in spending time, but in investing it. So, you know, you can spend time on useful and useless things. But if you call it investing, you will definitely invest in something that has value and importance for you, right? So hindi lang yung parang may ginagawa ka, but actually when you look at it, it's not valuable, it's not important to you. So investing means you have to choose your goals wisely. And are these goals aligned to God's will for you? So if you spend your time for these goals given by God to you, then we call that investment. Aju? So this is very important point. So True Father said, eternity does not start when we die. It begins at the moment we come to know God's will. Once we know it, if there is a gap, even one moment, eternity will be stopped. Therefore, in pursuit of our life of faith, if we think, I cannot make it this year, but I will do it next year, or I cannot go in my adolescence, but I will go in my 20s, or I cannot do it in my 20s, but surely I will do it in my 30s, or I cannot in my 30s, but I will do it in my 40s, or I cannot in my 40s, but I will in my 50s. Sabi ni True Father, if we have this kind of attitude, sabi niya, if we live our whole life like this, we would never have lived even one day in accordance with God's will. A person who lives like that cannot enter the kingdom of heaven when he dies. Wow. Sabi ko nga kanina, you only live once. But once is enough if we make it right. Aju? So let us learn from True Father's attitude on life. Motto in 1960, let this be the year of the best results of our life. You know, 1960 was the year when we don't have much foundation. But True Father turned it around through the holy wedding of the true parents. As True Father said in 1960, the year we restored vertical history through indemnity. Wow. So we should not miss this opportunity. This time, brothers and sisters, what is the difference between this time and in 1960? As I have mentioned, in 1960, it's still within the period of indemnity. But now we have went beyond the period of indemnity. We are now in the period of attendance, in the era of attendance. And True Father said, in the era of attendance, your results can be claimed by you. You know, in the era of indemnity, yung results natin hindi natin makiklaim. Why? Because these are indemnity conditions. And these are offered. And then Satan, so that Satan cannot accuse us. Pero ngayon, True Father said, in this era that we are living now, our results can be claimed by us. Wow. So brothers and sisters, let's make good results. And all of this can be claimed by you. Amazing, right? Amazing opportunity now. And we should not miss this opportunity. Are you? The last, in the Bible verse, sabi doon, therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not be foolish, but understand the Lord's will is. Understand what is God's will for us. Anong ibig sabihin nito? First, we need to understand our priorities. What is your priority? So my dear brothers and sisters, what are your priorities this year? Of course, everyone wanted to be happy, right? If you read the divine principle, exposition of the divine principle, the very first sentence that you can read in the introduction, anong sabi doon? Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. Actually, ganun ang New Year. Kaya maraming naglalagay ng mga pampaswerte, right? Nagkakaubusan ng mga bilog na prutas, kung ano-ano, no? All kinds of luck na mga items nilalagay sa bahay para daw pumasok ang swerte. Nag-iingay in order to avoid misfortune. And that is true. Even the divine principle mentions about this. Everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. But what have we learned about the secret of attaining happiness? Ano ba yun? Ano ba ang sikreto? How one can attain happiness? We learn that we attain happiness by making others happy. Aju? Yun lang yun. That is the secret to happiness. Make others happy. This is the principle of true love, principle of living for the sake of others. Aju? So understand your priorities. And our priority is to make others happy. Who are your others? Yeah, so you can start looking around you. Your spouse, your children, your family, your parent, your brothers and sisters, your tribe, everyone. They are others, right? So make others happy. Secondly, establish unity with God's words. Establish unity with God's words. We cannot understand what is God's will for us without establishing that unity with God's words. Sabi nga nila, God's words is God's love, right? So when you feel or experience lack of God's love, isa lang ibig sabihin yan, lack of God's words. And you? So that's why Hundok tradition is so important. Establish unity with God's Hundok means, no, we have to practice. Establishing unity means practicing God's words. We become embodiment of God's words. The unity of faith and substance. Aju? So faith and action. Third, let us learn the importance of now. You know, we have gone through so many challenges in the past. Maybe some of you have went through a lot of difficulties after difficulties, failures after failures, challenges after challenges. But when you look back, very important is your disposition now. Anong nasa heart mo ngayon? So learn the importance of now. The most important time, my dear brothers and sisters, the most important time is now. You know, there is a book, ang title niya, The Power of Now. And it talks about, thinking and realizing deeply that the present moment is all you have. Hindi mo na pwedeng balikan yung nangyari in the past. You cannot even live the life in the future now. But what is important is what is it now. Ano ang nasa iyo ngayon? This is all that you have. So that's why, brothers and sisters, make the now the primary focus of your life. Do not be imprisoned by the past. We cannot just sit on idly because we are thinking of a bright future. Important is what we are doing now. Actually, napakaganda nito because this is what should be the mentality of all our blessed families. We can call that Chonmo mentality. Chonmo mentality, right? Chonmo mentality means taking action now, taking responsibility now, taking responsibility for God's will now. This is Chonmo mentality. Aju? So napakaganda ng Bible verse na pinag-aralan natin. How we can bring the greatest result in our life this year, 2022. So live your life in alignment with God's will. These are True Father's words. True Father said, today, what believers should dread is not the visitation of the judgment in the last days, but the question of how they will harmonize their daily activities and face life's crossroads in alignment with God's will. Aju? So this new year, my dear brothers and sisters, as I have said, this is a very good time to have a spiritual check-up. Very appropriate, to reevaluate ourselves, readjust, and reorient ourselves. So just like, many are also doing physical evaluation or physical examination every new year. So there is also what we call spiritual evaluation. So you don't need scales or tape measures or some kind of medical equipment in order to measure this. So that's why the point of all the checking and evaluation is to establish our goals for this year. And we cannot establish realistic goals if we don't know where we stand, right? So life is composed primarily of large things happening, but mostly small ones. Our life is made up of seconds, minutes, hours, daily interactions with people, right? Those little habits that we do, little decisions that we do, that we make every day, when we reflect on how we use these small pieces of life, we are thinking like God is actually giving us opportunity to recalculate, recalibrate our life. So that's why very good time now for spiritual check-up. What is in your heart? So that's why, parang ganito, checkpoint for spiritual evaluation. Looking back, spiritual check-up begins with heart exam. Hindi yung heart exam na, yung physical na heart. I am talking about a different heart exam. And actually, if you still remember the parable of the sower, that can be read in the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 1 to 9. Napakaganda. You still remember this parable of the sower when our Lord Jesus Christ shared that, the kingdom of heaven is like this. There is a sower, and then mayroon siyang seeds na dala, and then he threw the seeds, trying to plant them. And then some of the seeds fell on the rocky ground. Some of the seeds fell on a thorny ground. And some of the seeds fell on a dry, barren ground. And some of these seeds also fell in a fertile, good soil. So to make the long story short, this passage or parable that we can read in the book of Matthew, chapter 13, the parable of the sower, when we reflect about this, brothers and sisters, actually I shared this during our Chonbo meeting last Monday. No matter how good the seeds are, if they are scattered on the path, in the rocky places, or among the thorns, or in the dry pathway, we will never have good harvest. However, brothers and sisters, if they are sown on good soil, then we can produce good harvest. Aju, 30 times, 60 times, even 100 times more than what was sown. So this parable is actually so important. Right now, no matter how good the seeds of the words are, no matter how perfect the seeds of the principles that we receive from our true parents, but these seeds have to be planted somewhere. And where will these seeds be planted? Saan, brothers and sisters? Saan ito unang itatanim? It will be planted in our hearts. It will be planted in our hearts first before we can plant it to someone else's heart. Aju? So what does this mean? We need to have heart checkup. I-check natin yung heart natin. Right? What kind of heart do I have? What kind of heart will these seeds of God's words be planted? So it is always good to have a heart checkup, right? Is our heart hard and rocky? Masyado bang matigas ang puso natin? Is our heart dry and barren? Walang tutubo doon. Is our heart filled with many thorns? Thorns like resentment, like anger. Mahirapan ding tutubo doon. Or is our heart a fertile ground? Is our heart a good soil? So if we are sowing the seeds of God's words in this kind of heart, in this good soil, then eventually this will bear fruit and bear good harvest. Aju? So thus, our beloved true mother reminded us, new wine must be poured into new wineskins. You still remember that? Actually, true mother emphasized about this point. But before that, I would like to read from the book of Luke, chapter 5, verse 36-39, talking about this new wineskin. He told them this parable. No one tears a piece out of a new garment to patch an old one. Otherwise, they will have torn the new garment, and the patch from the new will not match the old. And no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the new wine will burst the skins. The wine will run out, and the wineskins will be ruined. No, new wine must be poured into new wineskins. And no one, after drinking old wine, wants the new. for they say the old is better. So, my dear brothers and sisters, blessed families, this passage that I read in the Bible is familiar to us because True Mother, our beloved True Mother, emphasized about this point. Actually, during the Christian Clergy Rally of Hope last December, True Mother mentioned about this, the passage about the new wineskins. I believe you already know the meaning of new wineskins, right? So new wine signifies the new truth and the new word. At that time, in Palestine, people would fill wineskin and made, a sheepskin with water and wine. So yun yung ginagamit nila na lalagyan ng wine. They use sheepskin. Pero sabi doon, pag yung new wine daw inilagay sa old na wineskin, sasabog. So that's why they have to use new wineskin in order to pour and put new wine. So at that time, our Lord Jesus Christ used this analogy or metaphor to tell to the people that, their ideas does not fit the new word. So parang ganun. So that's why this time, as we are in the age of attendance, we are following our true parents. True mothers giving us new truth, new revelations now. And this is being given to all the people of the world, right? Actually, napakaganda dito yung last verse, last sentence. Sabi doon, no one, after drinking old wine, wants the new, for they say the old is better. This is the reality. That's why those who are used sa mga old wine, they do not want new wine. That's why it's very difficult for them to understand the new truth. That's why even the time of Jesus, he was persecuted because of this, right? So that's why this time, brothers and sisters, when we look at our life of faith, this new year, we have to rethink and reevaluate. Where are we now? Are the strategies we are using in the past still applicable now? Or do we have to adapt and improvise? Sabi nga nila, sa new normal, even the providence has to adapt. And our true mother have shown that to us using the digital platform. How much true mother could reach out to billions of people in the world in a short span of time. Amazing, right? We can say that our true mother is future-proofing our movement. Inihahanda ni true mother ang ating movement for the future. I would like to read. We are now going to the conclusion. This is taken from the Mother of Peace, page 283 in the English version. We now approach the final task, which cannot be delayed. I must open the age of Chonulguk. Chonulguk is a Korean term signifying God's peace kingdom, in which two become one through love. It is a new age, and we need to put on new clothes. As citizens of Chonulguk, we need the clothing of filial piety in our family, patriotism in our nation, saints in the world, and divine sons and daughters of God. Normally, pag New Year, maraming mga tao gustong magsuot ng bago. Bagong damit, bagong sapatos. Basta may bagong style ng buhok. Yun. But, True Mother is giving us also an idea. In this new year, we need to put on new clothes. New age, Mother said. As citizens of Chonulguk, ano yun? We need the clothing of filial piety in our family. Hyojong, the heart of filial sons and daughters. And then we need the clothing of patriotism in our nation. Through the RYF, we have breakthrough working together with the government in order to educate our young leaders and bring them to understand what is true patriotism is. That's why Amazing Breakthrough last year. Saints in the world and divine sons and daughters of God. So this message from True Mother's autobiography, Mother of Peace, this talks about what should we wear in this new year, in this new era, in this era of Chodol Book. So balik tayo doon sa tatlo na sinabi ko when we started. Every new year, people are praying for long life or longevity, prosperity, and peace. So what is the secret to long life, prosperity, and peace? Actually, the book of Proverbs, nandun yun yung sekreto. Sabi doon, my son, do not forget my teaching. Do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. So nandun lahat. The secret for longevity, prosperity, and peace are all summed up here. Do not forget Heavenly Parents' teaching, and we have to keep God's commands, God's will in our heart. So we need to keep God's will and directions in our heart. So 2022 will become a victorious year. Aju, do you think so? Some of you answered silently. Some of you answered very loud. So my dear brothers and sisters, at the beginning of 1960, True Father declared the very first motto, let this be the year of the best results of our life. So my dear brothers and sisters, do not think that last year was the best result of our lives. Yes, we have done so much, we have accomplished much, but this new year, 2022, we have to surpass what we have done last year. Let this year, 2022, bring the best result in our lives. Aju? So let me end with this, brothers and sisters. True Mother said, my motto in life, if how can I live today with more gratitude than yesterday? I have tried to live a life in which I am more grateful today than I was yesterday, and in which I will be even more grateful tomorrow than I am today. It has been my life goal to have gratitude in my heart every day. Right before True Father left for Danbury, he said, please never complain. You should be grateful for the position you have been placed in. For when you become completely one through your gratitude, great miracles can take place. Amazing words from True Mother, right? Gratitude. Gratitude can unlock great miracles in our life. So thank you very much, my dear brothers and sisters. Let's bring the greatest victory towards Vision 2027. Kamsahamnida. I would like to conclude with a prayer. Please join me in prayer. Saragasidan hadal pumaning, chanjin champamaning kamsahamnida. Beloved Heavenly Parent and our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we are eternally grateful for your amazing love, amazing guidance, for the protection that you have given us for the past year. That even though we are living in this time of uncertainty and confusion, but living our lives together with the leadership of our true parents, guiding us, bringing us together, and leading us in the front line, we can see hope. We can overcome despair because we can see a clear direction where our true parents are bringing us in this time. And as we have entered this new year, 2022, we reflect back on what we have done and what we have accomplished last year. We know that we have failures. We have many limitations. We have many things that regret in the past. But all of this are now belonging to the past year. We look forward for this new year so that we can make a new and firm determination to completely become one with your will, to completely become one with our true parents, so that moving forward together, we can bring the greatest results in our lives. You know us more than we know ourselves. You know our capabilities. And at the same time, you know our heart. You know our pain and our suffering. So please, Heavenly Parents, please continue to enlighten us so that we can be empowered by your love, how we can be able to bring more results. As your filial sons and daughters, we always feel that our accomplishment is not enough. We always feel that we are working not hard enough. We could have done more, and we could have offered more to you. So please open our eyes, open our hearts, so that as we reflect on the past year, we can make greater determination, whether it be in the individual level, family level, tribal level, national level. Please give us clear wisdom, what we need to do, what we need to accomplish in order to bring victory, so that through these victories that we can offer to you, we could be able to comfort your heart, comfort the heart of our true parents. Please use us. Use each and every one of us. Whatever limitations that we have, whatever situations that we are in now, we know that we are your sons and daughters. Please claim us and please use us to advance your providence. Thank you once again for keeping us together. Thank you for the love that we felt and we have experienced to our family, our friends, our loved ones, our brothers and sisters. And we hope that we can continue to make that commitment of expanding the realm of Chonolgong, expanding the realm of Chonmo, expanding our Heavenly Parents' holy community. Let this year be the year that we can bring the greatest result in our lives. Thank you, loving Heavenly Parents. Thank you, true parents. We offer our prayers, and I report this in the name of Julius and Ayakumalik, the Blessed Child Family. Adieu.
For the wonderful and very full of inspiration message for this morning in our Ahn Shi. Truly, brothers and sisters, this is the best time to reflect and look back and look forward for the most of the opportunities that we can achieve. Anyway, before we can do that, let's do check-up. Anyway, it is a free checkup. Everybody wants free. It's a spiritual checkup for us that we can make the greatest achievement that we'll never forget in our life. Brothers and sisters, let's bring results and be free from the accusation of Satan. Aju! Again, let's bring a hand to our beloved Dr. Julius Malikdem. And now, for our offertory song, let's sing My Offering. an offertory prayer to be said to us by Reverend John Robert Gregorio.
Let us pray. Our loving heavenly parents, our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, today we thank you for being able to see, hear, feel, and walk together with our true parents. We feel very unworthy, but every day you always remind us with our responsibility to become worthy in front of our parents and to understand the will of God. Today, we would like to offer this humble offering and bring this into your altar with humble heart that we will do our best to offer much more substantial result in front of heaven. The year 2021 is a year filled with challenges and difficulties internally and externally, but we can look at it as an opportunity to grow more and become more absolute and loving sons and daughters of heaven, as we can saw in our own eyes how our mother is spending the remaining years of her life comforting the heart of heaven, our heavenly parents, and making sure that her children will surely enter and experience Chonelguk. Thank you so much, heavenly parents, for experiencing this kind of heart and allowing us to return the love that we receive from you. We would like to offer all the victories of 2021 to our true mother and make more responsibility to bring the greatest result of our lives, centering on heavenly parents and true parents. Together with all of our great leaders, elders, blessed families, and brothers and sisters, we want to make new determination that this year will become the best years of our lives. I humbly offer and report this prayer in the name of John and Catherine Gregorio, blessed Central Family, Jew.
Brothers and sisters, let's offer our individual prayer. Aju, Aju, Aju. And now, brothers and sisters, for our announcement for this Ahn Shi on Sunday, on January 9, 2021, at 8 a.m. Manila time, we ask all blessed families and members to attend the second prayer rally for the salvation of the homeland. Let us join hands in praying for the unification of the Korean Peninsula, as well as the healing of the world from conflict, wars, and diseases. You can watch the very gracious event on our official UPF Philippines and Rally of Hope Facebook page. And for our recessional song, let's all together sing Unity. Let's all stand up. And
my goal in life is to follow my God's will, to preach His word, to spread a message of tongue here. I pray for unity. I'm hoping we on still. I know it's coming.
thank you very much, all our brothers and sisters, for joining us in this Ahn Shi 2022. Okay, for our news and announcement also, for our announcement for our leaders here, please gather here at 9:30 in the morning, and exactly 9:45 we're going to start our meeting. And this is also a free time for us to join together for our morning breakfast in our good environment near the sea. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Thank you very much, Sir Julius. Brothers and sisters, happy Ahn Shi. Bye-bye. Thank you po. Thank you for that. Bye-bye. Have a blessed day, everyone. Hi, Ate Banana. Bye-bye. Good morning, everyone.
Ay, di pala natin.